struggle in mid-range.
Yeah, he kind of does. I think they want to take some more control of which walls will be destroyed or not. Because as of right now, depending on what stamina would have gone for, Team Queso could have potentially just got the Brock as the final pick, open up the map with it, and then you have 3 sharpshooters on an open map, and that's more likely than not gonna be GG's, right? Especially if you have a B and a Bell that can also deal with the tanks, and this is a brawler that I feared Stamina would bring to the table, because Buster in dueling Beetles, I think, can be quite a threat, and Team Queso better be prepared to deal with it.
He's very frustrating to face versus even then, and you know, even if he doesn't end up working out, it's not going to be a pleasant time for Team Queso even a little bit. Still, they have abundant options on how to deal with him. He might just be the strongest tank at the moment, however. Got to be thinking of those tank counters, and I don't know if Gale's really the way to go because he struggles on the range matchup, but it typically is the most straightforward way to deal with it. Pam, I definitely love, because if Buster pushes in versus her, then he is going to be taking a lot of damage and potentially having his ammo sucked away by Scrap Sucker. The boss needs to be careful, because if his damage gets reflected back at him, every single one of those shots is going to get reflected by Buster Super.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of the Pam idea, at least not off the bat. Maybe they know something I don't, but what I do know is that this is our 5th and final set between Stamina Esports and Team Queso. Winner takes all.
Zar on the right side is already getting it started versus Boss. A kill already flying across the screen. Ala SSJ falls, and S-Team begins to set themselves up. And Bobby, he got slowed down by the honeypot for just a moment. It is actually going to work out pretty well for Zar on the right side as well, as he gets killed. Down goes Javi on the left side. A little silence down to Ala SSJ. Zar looks for the final shot, but Brock, he struggles in mid-range. We already knew this. A little super to the backside to get some damage on Boss. He's just 1 hit away from getting taken down. Early rocket fuel popped as well, but where is he even going to place that? It looks like he was going for the kill and got a little trigger happy. He does go for just a normal shot there, but no more wall breaks are available for Zar for free. Here's the reflected shots from Bobby. Solid takedown as well, and a very convincing lead for STMN.
Yeah, I don't really know what the idea was from Team Queso. I feel like if you go for those sharpshooters, you want to open up that map, especially if Buster is left open. Just not a chance here, as Bobby just blocks access to the mid, has perfect range for that area, and Team Queso, to my eyes, completely messed up that draft.
Great pinch there from Javi around the left side. Ala SSJ and Javi are both setting their sights on mid now, as OG could get taken down. No, denial from OG. Zar continues to take down the right side. There's no coming back for Team K, so right now, this game, it's done and dusted. It's going to STMN, and it's a match point on the way.
We had multiple match point opportunities for Team Queso. Heist nearly got there as well, but now, at last, Stamina with a full-on reverse sweep are getting a match point of their own. 1 game is all it takes to lock in their spot in the semifinals.
We saw what happened last time STMN ran Buster, though, especially into a B, actually, and it didn't work out so well for them after some time as Team Queso got adapted. And already Team Queso, they pushed up pretty far on the right side, dropping down a nest egg. Zar doesn't look like he's going to be venturing too close to there as he tries to get it done at long range. Little healing turret popped down by Ala SSJ. That's going to be a great early game value. Still, though, Team Queso, they're a little bit cautious about moving onto mid. Bobby getting some of his ammo sucked away as well. Ala SSJ definitely giving him a hard time. OG on the left side manages to get the kill versus Javi, however. And Ala SSJ is forced to move back. Miss silence as well. 2 bags fumbled in a row. Down goes Zar as well. And Team Queso now take back mid control.
Yeah, opening up the left side so far seems to be favoring Team Queso more than anybody else, as they have an aggressive stance now with that healing station still doing work. Eventually, it's gonna get taken care of by Zar, that gets a shot through the wall. A kill from OG on the left-hand side. Ala SSJ should get shut down, and indeed, after a silence and some follow-up shots, he will fall. And this is a chance for Stamina to start catching up.
Super popped by Bobby around the left side as well, reflecting some solid damage. Ala SSJ tries to take him down. Bobby's on very low health. There's a heal over to OG, but he's still on super low health. Ends up getting tagged up around the corner by Boss. Ala SSJ and Boss are relatively safe here, but OG and Zar are coming for him still. They make sure to stay in very close range versus Zar, pushing him off that point. Takedown onto OG as well. It's a 3v2. Zar has to stay alive. Good takedown from Bobby. Good reflections from the guy as well. Takedown onto Boss. Javi has to get the slow. There's a kill, but he gets countered out, and STMN look to equalize the capture percentage on the point now.
Huge plays from Stamina. because now they're taking over the lead and we're getting so dangerously close to the finish line. A healing station that gets shut down incredibly quickly. A kill from Zara on the left. Bobby takes down the mid player, gets the final kill, and Stamina are going to the semifinals.
Semifinals on the top side of the bracket, locked in. Team Queso, despite being one game away from victory, fully reverse swept a game victory in the first game of set number 3, and then fully taken back in a dominating game from STMN. What a comeback for STMN. In the end, I guess we got our predictions right, but this is the strongest ever showing that we have seen from Team Queso.
Team Queso looked phenomenal, especially in the 2 first sets. Even afterwards, it's not like they got stomped in the 3 next. They still were absolutely competitive, but Stamina, they just built up so much momentum and they were unstoppable. 3 sets in a row for the full-on reverse sweep. That has got to be one of the biggest turnarounds in BSC history.
And by a large margin as well, because this was insane. Just never before seen stuff, and it looked a little bit grim at points for STMN, even after they started getting that momentum going following those first couple of sets. Just look at the reactions from the guys as well. Definitely crowd pleasers, these guys.
Absolutely. I can even tell, you know, without hearing it, that there was some mild swearing potentially with that celebration, but you can't blame them. How happy they must be at this stage, and the stats are absolutely in favor of Stamina. Bobby on that buster at the end, phenomenal performance. But to my eyes, it's OG that really showed his true colors today and came with a phenomenal show. We'll see if you guys agree. You guys go, Bobby. He still had a very good showing too. I mean, whether it was the Piper earlier on or the buster towards the end, he was also absolutely fantastic today. It was a team effort. Zar absolutely has his moments too, and I think a special mention to Boss from Team Queso that really had some games that he popped off and did a huge amount of work for his team.
This new addition to the roster makes me very optimistic for Team Queso in the next year, because an addition to the team, a huge roster swap and breakup towards the end of the year, that's disastrous, right? That really downplays your team synergy, and to see them actually play so well on the world stage versus such a stacked roster as well is absolutely impressive, and I hope to see what these guys accomplish in the next year. With that said though, STMN, they've looked so impressive today. Now they're headed into the semifinals. Well, they'll be facing Zeta Division 1.
Yeah, that is true. That is going to be a challenging matchup. Totem couldn't quite do it, and most people that thought, you know, that any team that could beat Zeta, it would be Totem. It wasn't this time around. Stamina, maybe later on today, will be able to make the dream happen.
I mean, we can only wait and see. We're only halfway through the quarterfinals. Yes, we're halfway through the quarterfinals with 2 matches out of the way and 2 stellar ones as well. We saw some upsets that we didn't necessarily expect. A really strong showing from both Zeta 1 and Reply Totem, as well as STMN and Team Queso getting extremely close there. I have expected actually a double match point.
Well, guys, we have someone very special here at the Brawlstars World Finals. It is going to be our game lead, Frank Ark. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Ruddy. And yes, I'm pleased to be joined with the game lead of Brawlstars. Frank is here. Frank, it's an honor and a privilege to have you here.
Thank you, man.
Let's get stuck in. I've got to say, you know, it's been a phenomenal year for Brawl Esports, and maybe you can just describe for the viewers at home the atmosphere of the arena and how you've been enjoying the show so far.
It's been absolutely amazing. I mean, the audience has been amazing and loud and cheerful. Yesterday was just perfect.
Let's get stuck into predictions, because I know that you are a competitive man, and I know that you keep up with everything Brawl Esports. How have you been getting on over at event.brawlstars.com? Have you been getting them right? Have you got the Rage Quit Tara skin? And if it went wrong, where did you lose out on your predictions?
I've got one wrong so far.
Just the one?
Yes, that was yesterday, of course. And there was a 50-50 chance.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about the year as a whole, as again, it has been the most competitive year for Brawl Esports. Which region has really shone for you, and has there been a particular player that has really stood out for you?
Yeah, for me it was EMEA. Just having 7 monthly finals and 4 different teams winning, it's absolutely insane. For me, the team so far, even though they lost today, was Totem. This redemption arc of having a bad start of the year and then showing up here, you know, it's awesome. And along those lines, there's definitely Joker as the new rookie of the year. But for example, in the last monthly final in EMEA, we had Dr. Lobster almost qualifying, which I think is absolutely insane.
I, for one, fully agree. Just before we wrap up, recently we've seen a little bit of the Brawlstars roadmap going into next year, but is there anything that I can squeeze out of you before we finalize things? Any sneak peeks for those watching at home?
I personally have no sneak peeks for you, but if you're viewing this, you should stay tuned until the end.
Well, that is an incentive to stick around if there ever was one. Well, 2 quarterfinals down, 2 more still to come. You are not going to want to go anywhere. We will be right back after a quick break.
People often ask, how can I do become a World Championship winner? What must I do to get Abs of Steel and Fist of Fury? The answer? Gimnasio Primo! You will learn to summon strength, summon asteroids, and serve a spicy jalapeno knuckle sandwich to even the strongest of brawlers. Fight with El Fuego in your heart. It will not be easy, but as El Primo once said, no pain, no gain, no glory. Gimnasio Primo. It's showtime.
We could tell you all about Spike Air, our new brawling shoe with explosive technology and a podium-perfect profile. We could tell you it's banned in 42 countries for unfair advantages in the Brawlstars Championship. But we'll let Spike do the talking. Spike Air. Look sharp.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2022 Brawl Stars World Finals. 2 quarterfinals down, 2 to go. I am Uber, joined here by Ark. And mate, you weren't quite able to squeeze much out of Frank there in that interview, but I tell you what, there's plenty of goodness to get squeezed out of these next couple of quarterfinals, man. What a matchup. Nothing better than a reverse sweep here, but we're far from done. We've really eliminated a lot of the expected one-sided matchups, I think, at this stage in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is where it really does all come down to. The matches are so exciting, so close to cool, and as you heard from Frank himself, not getting every prediction right, and I think that is going to be very much the story of today. We're going to see more upsets, no doubt about it.
So we've just seen STMN take down Team Kaizo in a hair-raising reverse sweep. Now we get Tribe Gaming EU going up against Zeta Division 0. Then after that, oh, it's a bit of a transatlantic El Clasico, I'd like to think. Yeah. Tribe NA and SK have a score to settle as always, 1-1 in tournament appearances as of late. That's going to be an incredible matchup as well. Let's talk about our predictions so far. Tough day to call, indeed. So far, you know, Ark, a bit of a stumble for you there with that reply totem game. Myself and Ready Set though, clean as a whistle.
Yeah, you're looking good, no doubt about it. It was going to be a match for me that could have gone to the 5th and final set. It really, really could have done. But Zeta Division 1, you know, many people crossing in the corridor saying to me, what's going to happen with this team? Yeah. Who has what it takes to take them down?
Yeah, you know, seeing that other game just now, there's a question, are STM and ready for that Zeta Division team, right? Of course, the sister team, Zeta Division 0, lurking in that lower bracket, also threatening to be quite dominant here. But Tribe Gaming EU looked incredible here. Big shout out to Ryan, of course, community manager at Supercell. Great to have him join us here in the crowd. an incredible nickname as well, just quietly. Perhaps that new, was it the penny skin?
Yeah.
Maybe named after him there. Love to see that. Everyone getting extremely excited, everyone taking their seats for this next match to come. And I think we should start talking about Tribe EU a little bit there, because it was a 3-0. So on paper, the series yesterday against Zest looked fairly good. But in every set, they dropped around to this Zest team who are plucky, who were just refusing to lay down. Tom, for me, a standout on this Tribe EU team.
He had all the carries in the pocket yesterday, didn't he? He really excelled, and this is where I feel like Tribe would sometimes have faltered actually, but they were able to pick themselves up, remind themselves that they had the advantage more often than not, and get the job done.
I mean, you're watching the Gus and Amber play, especially on Hot Zone, right? Seeing Tom just walk up there, play with confidence, play aggressively. It seems so crucial. I mean, again, I think Frank pointed it out here, right? 4 different teams winning monthly finals in the EMEA region. This team, Tribe EU, are forged for just an occasion. They've already come out of the baptism of fire in their own region. Now they're ready to take down the very best from East Asia. Let's head to the stage. Let's get them out here.
Et on est de retour ici à Paris, au milieu de la foule cette fois. Il fallait que j'aille au milieu des fans. Est-ce qu'on est chaud? Ça, c'est ce qu'on aime. Et comme on s'est jeté au milieu des fans de Tribe, on va la faire en anglais, les gars. We're gonna switch to English real quick because we're doing every language out there. 2 matches were out there. Everyone's super happy. And I mean, you know when I'm here, right? You guys know where I'm here, right? You know it.
Tribe for the win!
Tribe Gaming EU!
They were once tea drinkers, but today, looking to take a sip from a cup of gold. Drage, Tom, Lanan, and Yoshi came in to the World Finals of the back of a big monthly final win in October and have continued to assert themselves yesterday against Zest in a 3-set sweep. Tom, of course, lifted the BSC trophy in 2019 and is looking to add another to his cabinet. With 5 grand final appearances and 2 grand final wins, they have been the most consistent team in the EMEA region this year.
Lanard's a superstar player in Europe. They brought him in from STMN halfway through the year because they knew he was what they needed to take it to the top. They are your #1 seed coming out from the EMEA region. A proud history this region has. They expect glory. Let's see if they can get it from their opponents about to come.
Évidemment, il faut bien 2 équipes pour faire un match. Il faut un adversaire. You need an opponent to make a game. And of course, we're here for the competition. Make some noise for Zeta Division 0!
Zeta Division 0 know firsthand just what it takes to achieve greatness. Tensai and Achapi are the reigning world champions, with Kuru this year being the icing on the cake for one of the tastiest rosters in all of Brawl. With 5 grand final appearances and 5 grand final wins this year, they are ready to leave those they face in the dust. Yesterday, Chazmak Gaming put them to the test, but Zeta prevailed, and no doubt have plenty more left saved in the tank.
This team had to sit on the sidelines at the mid-season invitational as their sister team went on to represent their region and ultimately win the tournament. And Zeta Division 0 were barely just behind that one team, right? They had 3 monthly finals of their own. These 2 teams split the region. You know, I'm sure you love to see your teammates go and succeed, but I'm sure a big part of them wanted to be on a stage like this. And now they're making the most of it. It was an extremely close game against Chazmak Gaming BR. They got put to the absolute test and they almost got put to the sword. Today, they're going to hope to be a little bit more stable as they look to secure a semi-final berth.
Exactly. Many teams have told me that they feel like Zeta Division 0 has been the stronger of the teams between the Zetas this year. But yesterday we saw a couple of cracks, and that is something that I'm sure Tribe Gaming EU, looking from the sidelines, are looking to exploit. Ultimately, for me, it's still Zeta. They've still dominated the East Asia region this year, and for Tribe, I know for a fact that Drage is one of the most intriguing players actually on the Tribe Gaming EU roster, for the simple reason that he likes to network a lot within that region.
I mean, I saw him hanging out with Tatampo the other day. You know, for a guy, obviously, there's a language barrier to conquer in that regard. Drace throws himself into that challenge, and he made fantastic friends with so many of these guys. Again, he's pretty close to them, so he's probably starting to develop an understanding about how these guys think, maybe what the mindset is from this region. And look on that stage. One of the biggest notable differences for me is that there is not a fourth person standing behind that Zeta Division 0 team. They do not have a coach. They do not think they need a coach. These drafts, these strategies, they come from the players themselves. Very self-sufficient. I wonder if that makes any difference here. Maybe the extra help, maybe another pair of eyes can go a long way. Tribe Gaming, you're going to hope that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, for Zeta Division 0, sometimes it does help to just be there left on your own devices, you know, able to have a bit more, you know, team speak and have things a bit clearer and a bit more concise. They are a very well-rounded team in the way that they just approach in a very disciplined manner every single moment that they have. And again, yesterday, I think many of us were surprised to see them just struggling a little bit. But what we remembered was the fact that they endured it and turned it around towards the end.
Yeah, I think the fact of the matter is it's much more likely that we underestimated what Chazmat Gaming Brazil would be able to bring. But these are exhausting games. These 5-set series really take it out of you. So this team's going to have to hope that they've had a chance to rest and recoup, because the guys that played their first round of 16 matches right on that day one, they had a whole day to sit, to watch, to strategize, to prep. For these guys, for the Zeta Division 0 team, they come in now and say, right, well, we've had the one night, that's all the time we're going to have, and they're going to have to make it count out here on the stage. And Tribe Gaming EU is one of the most frightening teams in the entire world, let alone on this side of the bracket. We've just seen an incredible matchup. We thoroughly expect this one to be just as close, Arc. We're about to jump right into game. It's going to be Canal Grande. It's time for Bounty.
Let's see as the teams get themselves prepared. Look at that poll. 52%.
Love that.
For Tribe Gaming EU, 48%, just shy for Zeta Division 0. It's going to be one of those maps that getting that early high ground is going to be so important, and Carl is available. I wouldn't be surprised if Zeta Division 0 pick it first, or if they don't, Tribe surely going to want to snap that one up.
Right, and it's not just Zeta Division 1 that we've seen really coveting that particular brawler. A lot of teams are getting a ton of value out of it. Whether or not it's paired up with something like a Gus, Carl is still a force to be reckoned with, and he's locked in first.
Well, I'm not surprised, but again, Tribe with now a chance to respond, and obtaining that blue star, obviously such a crucial moment, especially in a map like Canal Grande. And they have found out Eve themselves, and that would have given them a bit more space to maneuver here on this particular map. But Gene gonna come in, Tribe, and I do love that particular brawler. So rounded, isn't it really? Having the healing be there when you most need it, and Otis just there to come in as well and apply that aggressive.
I mean, we saw Murray earlier today on that Gene, you know, really, especially on gem grab, able to break the deadlock and give his team the win when it really counted. The Magic Hand is so scary, and we are starting to see a couple of these Genes pick up that gear, get a little bit of extra length on that Magic Hand. People underestimate, I guess, how much, like what it was, a quarter, a third of a tile can mean, but it can mean all the difference in those situations where it is win or die. Janet going to get locked in here by Zeta Division 0.
We saw earlier today Reply Totem really utilising that talk to the hand gear. I mean, that was a moment where if they were not running it, they would not have got that all-important pull against Zeta Division 1.
Yeah.
Janet going to come in now, and again, a great thing to have, ultimately to scout the bushes, to be able to feed back information to your team, and that's where the battle for me is always won, actually, in Canal Grande. If you can have that mid-ground, then more often than not, you can just try to hold it until the very end.
And often overlooked about Janet is that, you know, drop the base is really frustrating. Of course, it's in like Rude Sands in the way that it will reveal people within its area of effect, and that includes those in bushes. Kuru now going to be the last pick, of course. The Ruffs gets brought in by Zeta Division 0. Really well-rounded composition here. They've got access to wall break, they've got a lot of survivability, they've got Tensai if he does end up being the gem carrier, can get out of trouble. Now we saw Zeta Division 1 really use their Carl as a blunt object, send him forward, send him in there with the tailspin to eliminate opponents, of course, on Bounty and get those key stars. Squeak careful enough. That's an interesting one.
It's going to be a tough one, but not if they keep that control. But over time, as those sticky syrup gadgets then take their toll on the map, it's going to be something where you can't always lock down that lane. You've got to have a really early, good game in that respect. As time goes on, you've got to keep that control, and that's going to be a tough thing if they lose control.
As expected, flying hook means a Chappie gets to snatch up the blue star to start us off here. Tom trying to apply as much pressure as he can on the Squeak. Can he have as much of an impact as he did yesterday on his Gus and his Amber and such? Definitely a question to be answered. Drage likely has the vision gear here as he'll be able to reveal Tensai's position for a little longer after connecting. Tensai is keeping at arm's length, and when here comes a Charping protected pirouette. Looks good. Stars getting exchanged here, but it's going to be Zeta Division 0 with a comfortable lead, and Lanan needs to be careful here.
Wow! Lanan survives, but Chappie very quick to the uptake there. He had to be, but interesting stuff because Carl has been a real issue all the time for teams that Zeta Division 0 face, but they are starting to shut it down. But look at this lead, 11 stars and the blue star now with Zeta Division 0.
That's like a free elimination there from Tensai as he flies over the map, able to drop one down on Tom. Pretty punishing here. Tom still has some of those gadgets left, so that sort of really high peak of Squeak's efficiency and effectiveness in the early part of these rounds is still available to Tribe. And now we'll see the map split, which is not great for Tribe. They need to find a way to cross the divide, and the range limitation of Squeak here might make this a bit more challenging. Drage hoping for another magic hand.
Great residue from Tom. Kuru is caught off guard now. Can they get the takedown? He's half HP, and Lanan coming now in. Oh, but he's managed to avoid that super in such a beautiful way, and Tribe is struggling to get these kills finalized.
Lanan almost overextending there, and he does. Tensai might get muted, but he's still able to find the shot. A Charpy playing up close and personal here. He's got to respect the damage from Drage, but Kuru is there to assist. A Charpy backs away. Had a package for Kuru there, but they split, so no extra damage. And 13 seconds left in the round. Tribe have to make the play.
Yeah, Drage needs a pull, but he already wasted one previously to this, and it's going to be a very tough thing to retake Tensai, though. It's going to come down here, and that'll be 3 stars Kuru as well, potentially
He's
here.
mad.
But the blue star is still in favor of Zeta Division 0, and they will take the first game.
That's mad from Tensai. You see, very low health, comes across the map with that super, actually drops down in front, but he knows, I've only got 2 stars to my name. If I can pose a distraction, if I can get in the way, it's going to take Tribe longer to find our main star carrier. Once again, a Charpy straight into the middle, blue star in hand.
Bad splatter there for Lanan and keeping Tensai just a little bit back there. Chappie as well, so be a bit cautious in this position. It does go down actually. Blue star with Tribe, but now straight back into the hands of Zeta Division 0 as Tensai there with the pickup keeps them with a healthy lead of 2 stars.
Drage getting some healthy poke, but he's not ready for Kuru to come in from the bush here. Tribe definitely looking a little maladroit right now, a little unstable through this middle part of the map. What do you make of this Squeak pick here? Of course, residue is so important when it comes to collecting these important eliminations, but it's not been enough so far.
Far better when you've got the lead and having your opposition coming in off the spawn to just delay the onset really, but Tribe need to retake here, and they've struggled a little bit in this mid area where, again, many of the battles are lost and won. Chappie has super now as well, and a flying hook in and back out again. He could get easily a double here. Drage is low, but actually not even needed. He could go in to finish Lanano if he wants the patience. You've got to admire it from Zeta Division 0 because sometimes they've got the utility and they don't even need to display it.
It's mad, isn't it, that a Charpy can sit back here. Zeta Division 0 are so far ahead. This map is excellent for both teams. In fact, it's Tribe EU's best game type in general. But they are significantly behind the 8 ball here. And Zeta Division 0 are looking to pocket it. Drage magic hand available. Tensai the one with the blue star here. He'd love to line it up, but he's a little bit too low. Kuru, Tensai able to pick Drage off. It's going from bad to worse here, Ark. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Yeah, we need to see more connections with the magic hand because that really can be such a huge game turner. Kuru here low, but utilizing the sandbags wonderfully so there. And look at this, Drage not able to do a thing there as Kuru and Tensai close in. 20 stars to 2. This is a massacre.
It's not with the roar that Tribe EU go down in this first map, but a whimper absolutely dominated by Zeta Division 0. Any echoes of the close game they had yesterday, well and truly dissipated.
What a display of dominance. Zeta Division 0 now, very reserved as we've come to expect from them over the years. But inside, surely a fire growing, and that is always the perfect start on the world stage.
So what do you make of the draft here for Tribe Gaming EU? Because they really seem like they have troubles answering the call, and also the roughs, the constant presence of pressure from the roughs here. Even Lenar on that Otis is not able to collapse onto these side lanes, and there was a moment just here where Tribe had the lead, but a Charpy just comes out of nowhere and equalizes. This from Tensai is so scary.
Yeah, we need to see, again, more magic hands. We didn't really get any of that with Drage, and I feel like Tribe probably should have banned the Carl, just simply given how much we know Zeta Division as a complete org are really utilizing that brawler. On a map like Canal Grande, it's really commonplace to go in to grab that blue star with the flying hook. So I would like to have seen that just banned out by Tribe a little bit. Probably hoping on the lamp blowout on the Gene to be able to cancel it, but clearly it's just something that Zeta Division 0 are thriving off the back of. I mean, look at these stats. I mean, we mentioned about Tom yesterday just being such a crucial component in the Tribe Gaming EU organism, but at this moment in time, not a single kill. 10 takedowns for Tensai, 5 for Chappy, 5 for Kuru. That is very strong stuff.
Tom, as a player, pretty reserved, right? Fairly collected. Don't normally see him just sort of overreact or sort of maybe get too excited here. So in this sort of, I don't know, a low energy state, he needs to find a way to surpass his limits, or at least what we saw in that round so far. Gold Arm Gulch is up next. Knockout on the menu.
The arena is electric. I don't know whether you can hear at home, but we can sure hear from the casting desk. It's such a great thing to have that kind of energy behind them, and maybe this will be the thing that Tribe need to get back in the game.
Look, they're not just a Tribe in name. They've brought everybody. They've brought their brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, cousins, everybody here. There's a huge Tribe contingent in the crowd, and make no mistake, the players can absolutely hear this. They've got noise-cancelling headphones, of course, but just the energy in the arena will still find its way in. Tom snaps up that Eve here first.
Well, they banned it out last time, first pick this time, and no Cole ban though, just to point that one out. It is a great thing to have down in the bottom layer of the map. You get so much more space to maneuver with that lakey area and some control there, some potential to push others up the map as well. And Janet coming in again for Zeta Division 0.
We saw this from SK Gaming, right? They had Semantic, I think, sort of towards the top of the map on that Eve, while they used Nani on that diagonal. So that is available here, of course, still. Nani not picked up quite yet. It's going to be the Gene pick here from Zeta 0 to follow up the Janet.
Well, healing is always a great thing to have in knockouts. Longevity, ultimately getting towards those later stages and not doubling down too early on the early game. You've got to be able to have a bit of both there in your arsenal as Tribe Gaming EU look to pick up something more to add to this Eve.
There's a snowball element to this as well, because if Zeta Division do win that first round comfortably, Tensai maybe doesn't have to use Super. Coming into a round with Gene Super available completely changes the texture of that round, right? Your opponents are going to be extra careful of going up against you. And here comes the Gus, and again, this was such a key pick for Tom yesterday. He's going to look to maybe get some value out of it here.
Yeah, they turned, take knockout around because of that Gus and the spooky Papa Gadget as well. Beautifully timed plays we saw. We could see potentially another sharpshooter to join the mix here. Buster, though, going to come in, and that's going to be an aggressive thing and a big statement now that Zeta Division 0 have got to respond to.
So tons of durability. That's definitely something to note here on the side of Tribe EU. Obviously, Eve Super can have some sort of niche value here, but really her utility across the top side of the map is going to be what the Tribe Gaming crew are looking for most. Who is the real aggressor here? I feel like Zeta Division 0 probably have a chance to pick something else with a decent amount of range. There's a lot of sharpshooters still on the board, I think, like you sort of pointed out here. But yeah, it's always a question of how you answer Buster. I've seen Ash do pretty well against Buster, but it's very map dependent, right? Whether that pick is going to make any sense or not.
Yep, Anlu as well, and it could just be simply an idea for Zeta to be able to try to utilize the Gene when Buster doesn't have that shield ready available to hand. And I think as well we saw there Otis potentially coming in.
It was Otis,
as
yeah.
well. So having the fat splatter to lay it down in the bushy areas to then try to seek out and destroy those coming the other way. Tribe just very slow to make sure they got the count ready, but they've failed to notice on the right-hand side that Zeta are all in the mid now, so this is where the magic puffs are going to come in really handy on the side of Kuru.
Tensai knew exactly where he'd find Tom. It's beelines to the bottom part of the map, forces a gadget use out of that Eve there as well. Drop the base, comes out, but is removed pretty quickly. Dre is still a little bit worse for wearing the backline, and that was a fat splatter to prevent Lenar from going over the top of the map. He's picked off now. Not a great start for Tribe EU. Drej and Tom, they've lost the lion's share of their durability. How do they fight their way out of this one? Kuru doesn't need to use their magic hand now. He can build towards it. This is very scary from Zeta 0.
Yeah, the perfect start, really, and Tom can only just go to the gas now to try to not feed into more.
Denied a supercharge.
Exactly that. The utility is so important in those early stages, as you rightly mentioned earlier, so by trying to deny that, it gives them the best possible chance. Drej has his super, Lenan has his, but they've really got to start to bring this back, or the momentum could get on top of them.
Tom gets his hatchlings. They're going to head straight in Tensai's direction. Need a couple shots, but really doing very little to furrow the brow of this Zeta Division 0 roster. Dre still maintains that super. Lenar needs to be very judicious about how he makes use of montage here. It could be make or break in this round.
Yeah, especially because Tribe need to wait this game out as well. Buster is going to struggle in these early moments, and Zeta know it. They're coming in now, and just like, I love that, the bait there from Kuru, just trying to ruffle the feathers of Tribe Gaming, and they're not falling for it just yet, though. Drake just got shield now, passing over to Lan. Great use of that as well, be able to push everything back, but what is going to be the response?
I like the fat splatter on the ground, though. It means that Tribe can't advance any further here. They use montage, but for what? How do they capitalize on the extra control they got on the map? They shield Lenar, they want to send him forward, and they catch a Charpy! That can't have been expected at all! Magic Hand comes out, but Lenar says, talk to my head! The Fates don't want to listen. What a piece here on Knockout.
Fantastic stuff. And so many in the crowd there just erupted. That is what they needed, but can they secure this game? Ultimately, it comes down to this round as to who takes the first one. Tensai has got that escape route there on the side of Janet, and look at on the top. We're seeing Lenar having to just consider his position there as a Charpy closing in, but now thinking better of it.
No fat splatters left for a Charpy here. So no real way to put that extra pressure on Lenar, maybe force him downward. Tensai, though, of course, has Crescendo again. Kuru flashing that super again and again. A constantly looming threat, but last round it didn't get the value Zeta were looking for.
Tom has got the egg as well. The hatchlings could be coming into play. A beautiful spooky popper there. Tensai to the front of it. Low on HP, but the magic puff's coming in now. Lenar with a shield, trying to find a position, but Charpy from behind.
What's he doing? He gets the mute on Lenar. Can Lenar get away? Drace tries to body block for the Crescendo. Takes Tensai over the top. Zeta Division 0 explode off the flank from the Otis. And it will clinch that first round.
The explosivity of this squad, you know, it's just like they come out of nowhere, and then as soon as they are in position, everyone just does what they need to get done, and blink and you miss it stuff. Tribe have got to get back into this game. They've had some moments here, which is more than we could say first set, but it's still just a bit of a struggle to round these things off.
Get a shield on Lenar, take space with that montage, get value out of the rest of your brawlers' longer range damage. Okay, immediately drop the base gets removed. Zeta really hoping to try and put the squeeze on Tribe early into the round. That still might be the case. Utility belt going to be used by Lenar, but he has to back away. A Charpy threatening. Tom has to use the gadget, but Tensai locks him up.
Dre just so low, but this is where Lenar is trying to help him out. He does need to stop shooting and start healing, honestly, because it is a 3 versus 2. You cannot forget that. Zeta closing in, everyone low. What a wipeout.
Rough start to the round there again. It's going to be pretty tough in the early rounds to get Zeta when they have those gadgets up right. Like Fat Splatter, Drop the Base, all these are very annoying and they take space away from you. You're a team that wants to group up as Tribe, so you're already naturally giving up a lot of ground. That is not what you want to see. Drage gets picked off there by Tensai, and this has gone all wrong for Tribe. Hatchling's up here for Tom. He wants to push up, but Tensai just knocks them aside. 2 versus 2 here as Lenar has the durability. Tensai's low. Now Tribe have the advantage. And Charpy will be allowed to breathe, but for how much longer?
Well, Lenar and Tom can take their time here. They'd like to get some utility ready for this next round, but also not feed in to the mute. Such a strong mechanic for Otis and can really make a big difference. I feel like it should still be Tribe to take this one, but we've seen crazy things occur in Knockout. You cannot count this one out. There is still the Fat Splatter also, and as they're bunched together, it could be some value there to be had.
A Charpy can create a virtual 1 versus 1, even in a 1v2 with that mute here, so allowing him to build that up would be devastating. Juke as much as you can. A Charpy's caught in the gas. Yeah, he knows it's over. I think he's just going to suck some of that down and move on to the next round.
Now we come to a very crucial moment, because this round could determine a game for Tribe or a set for Zeta, and Tribe going down the right-hand side, but a bit of an early shield because they didn't quite anticipate that Zeta would do exactly what Tribe did in the previous round. Tribe went to the right last round, and Zeta clocked it. Now it's reversed roles, and that was a bit of an investment that just didn't quite pay off for Tribe.
Yeah. Tribe thought that they had the read on Zeta Division 0. They couldn't have been more wrong. Now they're going to suffer for it. Dre's low. Hatchlings will not be coming out. Tom now wants to try and play the diagonal here, but he's going to be outranged to some degree. Lenar, shield plus super, pushing up. Tensai, he's seen better days. Here it comes, the pinch on towards Zeta Division 0, and they get Kuru. Tensai, what's going to be left of his team when he drops back down to the ground? He's able to get Lenar, make the trade, but it's still a 1v2 as Tensai has it all to do.
Beautiful pinch there between Drage and Tom, and the perfect moment to do so. Now Tensai low, and it's looking good. But will he get super? Not going to happen. Drage will get the final blow, and Tribe start to find themselves once more.
A little bit of a blooper at the start of that round, right? Lenar tries to make a cool shot with that montage. Says, I reckon I know where they're going to be coming from. Maybe we can get some free damage and catch someone out. They have to play fair in the end, and it still works out. Even that use of Janet Super, of course, crescendo across the map, really not enough for Tensai. It all comes down to a final round here.
Tom is really starting to get some really nice connections there. Getting that early start and just positioning moving forward. So, oh, look at an early takedown there. Tensai was the victim. So 3 versus 2, Tribe yet coming back, just regrouping up and just, yeah, you've got to take these moments slow. You've got yourselves that early lead. Don't lose it.
Definitely not expecting, I think, Lenar to be sending shots his way amongst those bushes. Underestimating the amount of damage that was bound to be coming his way. Kuru building a magic hand could be huge here. He and a Sharpie can quickly collapse, but it would absolutely precipitate an all-in from Tribe if they tried. Tribe are not likely to try and give up this early advantage that they have. Playing it safe though. Lenar around the corner at Sharpie. He'll trade with, but Sharpie tries to take a fight. He cannot win. And Lenar punishes.
And again, just stay clear from Kuru. Don't give him that magic hand before the next round. Just try to get that takedown there as Gas takes its toll. Now we are in for a real treat because Tribe, with the help of the crowd behind them, are already starting to make this work a lot better. They cannot afford to drop this set.
Again to the right-hand side for Tribe. This time, no premonition from them. Tensai able to avoid a bit of that poke in the middle part of the map here. Kuru wary of Lenar, who is encroaching rapidly across that top side of the map, and Tom's getting full value, of course, out of that extra Eve utility. There's a lot on the line here for Tribe. They'd love to even up the series now after a difficult first set. Both these teams unwilling to give an inch.
Kuru now with the magic hand, just off the back of that shot there. Oh, but a lovely spooky pop, but yet again for Tribe, and the takedown is swift. 3 versus 2, and Tom now just going to heal as well. But one pull from Kuru, and it's all level.
Lenar gets a barrier here. They're going to go forward. Trade's got caught. Montage gets thrown out, but they can't trade. Tribe find themselves in a 2v2, and they weren't able to get any value back in that exchange.
A tough spot, a really tough one for Tribe, but it's... Oh, now the gas comes in, though, and Lenar can then go to the right, but the magic hand comes in. The left blow as well, the heals. Oh, but the mute Tom has got to take the forefront of this. Oh, Kuru! Beautiful stuff! Zeta Division 0 turned it around into their favor against all odds.
The Gene in the 1v2. That is absolutely stupendous. As Zeta Division 0 now give themselves a real shot at taking a second straight series away. Tribe have to recover from this and quickly get their ducks in a row, otherwise this one's going to slip through their fingers.
Well, look at this on the top of Chappie, yeah, just starting to creep round. Fast Splatter as well, looking everyone down. Lenar coming in with a shield, and I think that is the perfect time for it, but Magic Hand is available there as well. We can't count that one out. Tensai, though, has got to be a bit cautious. He's been getting a bit low. The hatch seems to be coming in soon for Tribe.
They're going for Drage. He might be caught in the corner of the map here. Kuru has Magic Hand up as well. They'll be able to read Drage's position. Kuru's flashing in. He's in trouble. He gets sucked in. Lenar trying to follow up, though. It's not going to be enough at 3 versus 2, and it's all gone wrong for Tribe. Tom, the 2019 champion, Tom, the veteran, now in a 1 versus 3 for the set.
And a 1 versus 2 in terms of world champs, isn't it? Terrible predicament for Tribe, and there goes the set. Zeta Division 0 will take it, and now 2 sets up. Will they secure it in a sweep, or will Tribe start to fight this one back because Time Mover is running out?
There can be no denying that Tribe have absolutely improved over the course of this series, but they're going to have to improve to the point where a reverse sweep is a must. That is not something you want to have to deal with. SCMN are able to do it, sure, but it takes a lot out of you. It's a long day for all of these teams. And my God, Kuru in that 1v2, that for me, that's the backbreaker.
It's such a terrible thing to have to look back on later when you can just see how close you really came to it, isn't it? But again, Zeta Division 0, oh, that calculated squad with such discipline, such reserved characteristics that don't require big, boisterous body actions and loud shouting to make their stand. They just do it all through themselves and their thumbs and their skill. It just speaks for itself.
Zeta Division 0 looking across at the bracket of their sister team, having already advanced. Here's that moment, the mute, of course, the posthumous mute coming out from Zeta 0 as it was a Charpy to connect that one, is what allows Kuru to get the 1v2. Stunning stuff. Here are the stats as they stand. Both teams really competitive. I thought Drage looked very, very good on the Gus ride. It's very hard to predict just how much burst you risk taking. If you're about to get hit by that fourth shot, Kooky Popper comes in, all of a sudden you're taking twice the damage you thought you'd be.
Yeah, it's a brawler which we've seen a lot in the East Asia region, and Drage really just showing us how much value you can obtain from it. It's been a staple diet almost for Zeta, so I think it was smart as well for Tribe to pick that one up. And it's a tough thing now for Tribe because they were so close to making this all evened out. Now with 2 sets down, they will have to rekindle some magic. Often this year, they've been the victim of a lot of reverse sweeps themselves by being in the lead and then having their opposition turn it around. Well, today, it's looking closer like they're going to have to start to learn how to do that more so themselves if this one keeps going the way it seems.
This team, you thought, when Tribe EU, they'd finally shaken the monkey off their back, right? They dispatched Na'Vi, who were the ones that knocked them out, last year, of course. A really disappointing end to their campaign. Getting a chance to go up against a team like Zeta Division 0 is something that, of course, you're equally excited about and also pretty scared of. This team brought the consistency in that EMEA region. 3 monthly finals wins, 3 second-place appearances. It's kind of the team that has everything in Europe, but everything may not be enough. Let's see now as we head into Sneaky Fields.
It's a very aggressive game mode, as we know, and Sneaky Fields just seems to bring even more of that out of the mix with so many options in terms of brawlers and metas to consider, and Tribe are not taking any chances. Banning out the Nita, not the first time we've seen that today. Banning out Surge and Max as well. Quite like those ideas because Surge ultimately can just gain so much power off the back of just the assassination from the bush. Speaking of assassinations, Crow being banned out, the Zeta Division 0 as well as the Otis and the Buster.
Yeah, Surge also is extra frightening now because it's not just a matter of randomly blinking forward. Obviously, Power Shield makes him excellent, really durable, a great 1v1 brawler. I like the M's lock in here, of course. It's going to be very, very important to try and keep tabs on where your opponents are. Of course, the Charisma will light up Zeta Division 0 if they're standing within that area of effect. Information is everything on Sneaky Fields.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a great way to try to suppress as well. Especially if you can get the ball towards those goal-scoring opportunities.
Lock them in their goal.
Exactly, yeah, really just lock everyone down and try to secure it when you've got the chance. Zeta now coming in with something of their own. I like Carl here myself.
What do you think about Gene with a vision gear on this map?
It's a bit of a tricky one because it's definitely characteristically of them to do so.
Sure.
It can just struggle a bit if you're aggressed, but it can also deflate those moments. It can be a great thing to have in terms of goal scoring opportunities as well. Janet, yeah, we've seen it in every set so far, and if it ain't broke, why try and fix it? But then combining it with the Carl, I just don't know whether it's just simply a case that Tribe Gaming EU are not banning out some of these really heavy hitters that Zeta are just so dominant with.
Yeah, Carl is obviously going to be a problem here. We've not really seen that many teams have a great answer to it. Teams have tried Daryl, teams have tried Ash, teams have tried highly durable, sort of good close-range damage brawlers to deal with it. But it's less about the Carl, and it's okay, so if you counter the Carl, quite likely you put yourself in a bad position against the rest of their brawlers, right? Because you're often dealing with long-range or, sharpshooter-esque type brawlers. You have the answer to Carl, you often don't have it against your opponent. So, the Gale here, decent answer to that tailspin all-in.
Yeah, I feel like Gale here is a great thing in Brawl Ball to have. Ultimately, in those moments where you are under pressure, you have got the ability to place the ball in the back pocket, put the twister on top of that ball as well. And, if they were able to lock that into play, they can deprive Zeta Division 0 of a goal. And Ash, I love that here. We've seen already today, with STMN just demonstrating the push potential of this brawler, going and able just to go head first into your opposition. There's very little you can do about that.
This is an incredibly short-range composition from Tribe Gaming EU. They really want to take advantage of the bushes as much as humanly possible. And Ash is a great answer to Kyle, can absolutely stand up under that sort of 1v1 kind of pressure. And again, this is a team that, oh my goodness, the Barley! Okay, coming in against a team that doesn't really have the mechanisms to close the gap on him effectively.
We had a little cheer as well from, I assume, the Zeta Division crew as the brawler came out. And I don't know, it's going to be a bit of a first for me, actually, to see a brawler like Barley in Sneaky Fields, in all honesty. But I quite like it. I mean, the sticky syrup mix could be the gadget of choice with the Ash, so Trage will have to be cautious of that.
But so frustrated. Look at him. Oh my! A lot of damage already on Ash, and okay, drop the base, gonna make that even more annoying. Trage wants to try and move up here. Brief heal from him, but it's just not enough. He's gonna be brought down. Last call thrown out by Kuru, and Lenar gets snared up.
This pass is coming through for Kuru, but Trage just about getting off the line there. Tom very low and does quickly go down. It is Zeta Division 0 now pushing forwards and starting to lock down Tribe into their own spawn. Trage is just feeding into Kuru as well. It's just actually working out fantastically well as a pick. Considering to go for the ball, thinking better of it, getting Tom taken down, but Zeta are locking everything down.
Tribe aren't ready for this. They were not ready for this last pick, Barley. Even with Chill Pill, Drage does not have the healing to keep him up. There's nowhere that he's actually safe from Kuru. And in the inverse situation, Kuru backs up. Sticky Syrup Mixer, if that's what he has available. Some help from Tensai, you name it. Zeta Division 0 have it. The ball's stuck in that corner for the time being, but Achapi doesn't mind. He takes down Tom throughout, costing Charisma. Achapi not quite healthy enough to convert the goal here, and Drage needs to pocket it.
Yeah, they've got to slow this one down, haven't they? Tribe are just trying to get out of the spawn, but they've got to start to work better as a unit to do so. It's interesting, isn't it, how we look across regions. You know, North America and Latin North would choose a Lu to counter the Ash. In East Asia, the Barley, and it is working. But if Trage can just start to push through and try to get a takedown, it's a struggle. It really is a struggle for him to do much about this situation.
Tom, now the one suffering the pressure from Kuru, who's been an absolute nightmare. Tensai giving a bit of space here, and that's all Zeta Division 0 need to do. Back up a little bit, play it slow. They know they're going to have their opportunity. It's centered around Drage being off the map. That needs to happen here. Lenar obviously threatening Gale Force at the moment. Chappie expecting it, but durable enough to deal with it if he's the only target affected. Drop the base again means that Drage cannot sneak up through that bush. They're always keeping tabs on this Ash.
But it must feel like playing with one hand behind your back. He just hasn't been able to get into the position where he can start to thrive. Zeta Division 0 know that if they were to do that, to leave an open door that Tribe would surely be walking through, but I think it's a wise call just to leave the ball for now. They've just got to survive this one, get into an overtime scenario and try to make something of it there.
Not a terrible move. Tribe first want to try and clear the way. Double Gale Force connection from Lenar. A second super use there, but he's caught in the corner. Overtime comes up at an opportune moment as Lenar's able to pick himself up and walk on away. Tom recovers the ball here. Tensai definitely able to stay out of the range of that gas. But there it is, Lenar's able to pressure him down. Drage wants to move up the map here. Achapi and Kuru into defense. Drage is healthy. He wants to try and... Oh! He slots it in the bottom left. What a finish!
Imagine that. You're pretty much absent for the entire game, and then you come in to score the most important moment. What a time to capitalize for Tribe, and against all odds, I didn't see that one coming.
There's no margin of error here for Tribe Gaming. They have to win this set. There's no more freebies left. And the strategy was perfect. Wait it out, suffer the punishment, the pain, and then deliver it tenfold. Gonna have to make a repeat of that, and now Zeta Division 0. They're wise to these shenanigans. Maybe they push a bit harder now.
Chappie has got the flying hook, remember, as well, and everyone's starting to line up. We would surely get a lot of value for it. Didn't choose to go for it. Tensai taking the skies now to just try to get everyone whittled down a little bit lower. Kuru little alone, juking around this wonderfully there as Tom's trying to find him out. Oh, Sticky Syrup Mixer coming down as well. He's still going.
Kuru can't be stopped. Another last call available here. Dre's trying to use that speed gear as well as possible through these bushes. Still going to get pressure down. Achapi keeping tabs on him. He's gone as well. Twister using that corner to make it so Zeta cannot capitalize on their map control yet. But Tribe are getting taken down one by one out of spawn.
I can't wait to see some of the stats of this game because the amount of damage output for this one as Zeta just continue to cycle in all the time, raining down damage and just whittling away at the HP. Drage, yeah, going to tick away down to 519 HP and somehow still going there, but how much longer can Tribe keep this up? If they're going to go with the same strategies the last game, they've got to take this to overtime again.
Yes, it's going to be exhausting. It's going to be another minute straight of dodging and weaving, ducking, diving, and dodging.
That's a lot of these back to back. Tribe, I mean, coming in, they need a W. They've got to start to get some aggression. They've got to get their utility ready. If it is the overtime play which they need, as more often than not, it's just Zeta all over. Raining it down. Trage in a good spot now, but again, just keeping the ball back.
No sticky syrup mixes left for Kuru now. Drage has a window and opportunity to start to close the gap. Not on this live, though, as Kuru just serves him one up in person. That's nasty stuff. Lenar's going to be forced to back away again. Remember, that ball has not left the back corner. That's part of the plan here for Tribe.
Lenan going down there. He does need to be in the mix for a twister. They've got 20 seconds to utilize it. You can get that bang on top of the ball, but it is a much harder thing to do. Now 15 seconds. This was the moment that Tribe sprung into action last time. Are they going to start to spring into action this time? They're getting some good positioning power, but the ball is still back.
Nice double stun. What an opener there from Lenar. And yes, the Champi tries to move up. This will at least guarantee Tribe a chance to get the ball and start to move it up the map here. The big question is, does Lightning strike twice? Can Tribe get away with this again?
Tensai now will be healing, as he'd love to be able to really help his team with this range, and also going into the Chappie. Beautiful takedown. Drage keeping his HP, juking wonderfully. If he closes in enough for a shot, no. He went for the super and thought better of it.
Yeah, gets taken down there. Little Helper's not getting any value either. Gale Force here for Lenar, but there's no architecture to knock people into. 30 seconds left here. Caustic Charisma an option for Tom, but he's going to be outranged at every turn. 24 seconds left in the round. The tension's starting to reach fever pitch. It's only Drage now against 3. This Barley still pressuring him out in the open. Lenar thinking about recovering the ball here. Gale forced to buy himself a little bit of room. There's 12 seconds left in the round and he's lost the ball. Here comes a Chappie. Oh! Super shot, no connection. Kuru gets it there though. How has he got that in? And this time around, Tribe's bag of tricks ends up being empty.
How do Zeta find these angles? It's just like they're building up blocks where there aren't any. It's like it's incredible stuff. And you can just see there, Nat from Tribe and John as well, and everyone on the edge of their seats. But it is dwindling. This will come down to this next game. Tribe for a set, Zeta Division 0 for it all.
Tribe have been counterpicked. There's no two ways about it. So now they need to hope their mechanics, their game sense can carry them through, but that is a big ask. And Kuru, it's a special delivery! One serving of goal for Zeta Division 0. They are moments away from moving up to the semis.
Maximum pressure now, and it's a big mountain to climb. The full reverse sweep and the goals on top of it that Tribe are going to need to stay alive this year. Or they'll be going home. Drage clears up the left-hand side. This is the best approach we've seen so far in the game for Tribe, pushing forwards. Tom with some great connections, but Chappie is the last man standing.
He's going. Oh! Drage there, ready to receive. 3 versus 1. Kuru going to be forced back into goal, and Tom slots it. This one ain't over yet.
What a response. It took a while to get there, but now Tribe realize that they just cannot sit back any longer. They've got to start to play Zeta Division 0 at their own game. What? Caustic, beautiful value for Tom. And Chappie, oh, the friend zone as well, knocks him back. Drake's still going.
Drake is healthy enough, took a chill pill, now looking to move up, but drop the base could be an issue. Lenar! It's Lenar to keep Tribe alive! 2 sets to 1 in the European hope. Lives to fight another set.
The reactions of the crowd are just something else, aren't they? You can see it in their eyes and how much it means to them. But on the stage, nothing less than composure as they realize it's starting to gain some momentum here for them. But Zeta Division 0 are keeping them under such scrutiny. It really is a question of survival. This was a great moment from Drage. 2 versus 1, and he just slots it right into the perfect moment there in that corner pocket.
Well, this is an oft overlooked part of Brawlstars here, especially with the pick and ban phase now. That if you lose that phase, if you get countered, you still need to try to find a way to win. You don't get to just switch up your composition. Now, painful goal there from Kuru. You can see Tribe really on the edge of their seats here. Just an incredible finish. This one was a walk-in. This is when we thought it might all be over. The equalizer was huge. Finally, Tribe showing some of that aggression, showing they actually had the data needed to win it. See us, we're very much involved as well. Look at the Gale Force to knock Kuru back to make it impossible for him to save it. These stats are disgusting. Tribe had 0 business winning this set.
I mean, I did say that coming into that game, I really was looking forward to seeing how this was going to fare. 21 takedowns for Tensei, 11 for Kuru. I mean, put everything that Tribe dished out together and compare it. It's mind-boggling they were able to get that win.
A chance to breathe here, of course, and for Tribe to try and reconvene around their next draft. They survived Brawl Ball, yes, but only barely. And there's much more series to be played. Zeta Division 0 are still poised to make their way into the semi-finals. Tribe are going to have to dig deep.
I've got to say as well, looking back at the replay, that beautiful pass through, just like got the perfect pass angle off the back of the wall to their teammate on the side of Zeta. It was just wonderful stuff. But as we go now into Hard Rock Mine, the pressure is not off of Tribe at all. They've got to win this set. There is nothing left to say. If they lose this set, they are out. Tom with the early draft coming in with Stu. The bans were Squeak, Buzz, and Crow. On the side of Zeta Division 0, banning out the Otis, the Ruffs, and the Buster.
Tribe Gaming now looking definitely to their coaching staff to give them smooth sailing through this pick and ban phase. Hard Rock Mine, an absolute classic, ladies and gentlemen. What a game to potentially take us either to match point or see Zeta Division 0 advance. Stu here for Tom. Pretty annoying to get rid of that speed zone based on the architecture of the map, but Max brings some acceleration of her own.
It's no 8-bit ban, and Tribe do love to play it in mid here. I've got to feel like that one should be coming up.
Rico's open.
Yeah, Rico lane as well. I mean, that would be the icing on the cake, really, wouldn't it, for Tribe? And it is going to be the 8-bit. I wonder whether it be the Rico too. We know that Zeta Division 0 would love to, yeah, I mean,
Love this.
yeah, I really do.
So all these deployables are going to be really hard to destroy just based on the way the map's structured. Zeta Division 0 have to really push aggressively to sort of get rid of the damage and get rid of the speed zone. So those will be helping Tribe in a big way. We know just how scary Rico is in the side lane. Bouncy Castle gives him the sustain. And of course, the trick shots are very, very frightening to deal with. But the Poco, always a threat here. Very different composition, very different approaches from these two teams here.
Everyone always sleeps on Poco, but Zeta Division do not. I've seen them play in scrims a great deal, and we've seen just the effectiveness, haven't we, of Max in Gem Grab. I mean, it was Chazbat Gaming EU that just demonstrated how much you can just turn a game that's completely against you on his side and, you know, gain those gems and speed out. There's literally nothing you can do. So I feel like for Tribe, they're going to be very, very cautious to not fall into that trap.
Protective Tunes has been huge, right? That invulnerability window is very important for anyone benefiting from that Poco gadget. And then Screeching Solar can really nail you through some of these walls. I wonder what Lenar... All right, looking to set up on this left-hand side, maybe get some value out of the damage. Amplify, Kuru is low, Tom's trying to punish him. And he goes down, Tensai picks up that free gem. Now looking to walk on away.
Everyone running that speed gear except for Tom. He's running the vision gear as well. And one singular Rico bounce, and that's going to really help him out a lot. Dre's just thinking about shooting and going to take a little bit of a Screeching Solar there as well. Chappie's getting to a dangerous position here. Dre's just going to have to be very, very cautious, placing pressure onto Tensai as well. Kuru goes down. Tom now able to advance onto him, and he's got to be ready. Bouncy Castle for healing, but no, Tensai's in a tough spot there.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on Lenar, by the way. He has breakthrough, not speed zone here. So when he wants to go aggressive, he can crash through these walls and try and wrest the gems away from someone like Tensai if they're not ready for it. Here comes Kuru pushing up. Tensai also going to be there. Drage has to use the cheat cards, and he just gets out alive. Fighting Tom, pretty scary prospect. He had the Bouncy Castle up, that forced Zeta Division 0 away. But Tensai eventually gets rid of him. Lenar, Drage pushed back, couldn't do anything about it. Breakthrough attempted to be used there, but a Chappie stays him off with the salty barrel.
Connection there from Tom wasn't really there. He would like to have got far more of it, and Kuru with the pickup is going to leave Drage and Lenan alone to push this, and Drage is such a slow and sluggish brawler without that damage booster down. It's realistically only going to be Lenan for a reset here, and he's nowhere near the situation with 2 versus 1. It's just simply not going to happen. Phase shift for days, and Tensai is safe and sound. Zeta Division 0 move on to match points.
Tom could not get himself out of the bottom left part of the map to help with that retake, and frankly, Tensai was untouched for the majority of that round. He was forced back for a time by Tom on the right-hand side. Lenar needs to be able to connect with this Stu. He needs to be able to get to his targets. He's not called an assassin for nothing. It's now or never. Here we go.
A much better start. Lenar really owning that right-hand side lane and putting immediate pressure onto the left as Drage and Tom just working to get that pinch, but Drage would need to get that damage booster down. He's going to have any chance of being able to contest the mid and cheat cartridge out if needed. Good taps there from him. Lenar waiting his timer. Tommy's
Here we go.
a little bit more here.
Good pressure on Kuru, screeching solo used there. Lenar able to withstand for the time being. Let's go for Tensai. It's going to send Kuru careening on a collision course with Drage, who tries to use the cheat card just to get away. They're coming for him. Drage can't get back. Kuru finds his mark. Tom will try and ward him away, but Kuru seems largely unperturbed. He'll drop his gems in enemy territory, though. Lenar wants to go aggressive, but he can't catch Tensai. And Chapi playing a great bodyguard here.
I love that from Tom, taking no chances and leaving the gems for Drake to pick back up. And now look at the positioning power that Tribe have been able to establish here. Bouncy Castle again, one more gadget I believe left still for Tom. Trying to get the angle between himself and Drage. 6 gems now for Tribe. Kuru takes Tom down. Lenan has got to push forwards, but he can't. He's too scrutinized, too low on HP. And the tuning ball coming in from Kuru, keep Tensai going in the mid. Let's go, ready for Zeta.
6-6 in gems, a couple more spawning in the middle, but Tensai doesn't need to worry about them for the time being. Lenar gets cut down by Kuru. Tom trying to dodge away from these turret shots, and Draze has to set up a very defensive damage booster. Lenar goes in, pressure on Kuru, yes! The crescendo up, and of course gonna go for a gadget pop. Draze doesn't expect it! Kuru sends him flying, and Tom has to look on. Tom's just trying to race Tensai to the other end of the map. Tensai realizes he can't hide in his spawn. 10 seconds remain. Try and have to do something now.
Drage goes down, it's just Lenan and Tom, and it's got to be a takedown. Tensai, nothing left.
3
at
seconds.
all. It's not going to be enough for Tribe Gaming EU as Zeta Division 0 move on to the semi-finals.
Heartbreak for Tribe EU. Drage with his head in his hands for a moment there. His first sort of full year, I guess, on a professional Brawlstars roster, and he'd hoped for so much more. Such a valiant fight against Zeta Zero. This team have looked frightening every match they've played so far, and they almost had this over in 3. The Heroics of Tribe kept them in it, but Heroics just aren't going to cut it against a team of this kind of caliber. That's 2 for 2 on Zeta Division rosters in the semis.
I mean, every month this year has come down to Zeta Division 0 and Zeta Division 1. It would be fitting for it to happen on the world stage as well. I'm just going to throw that one out there early, but maybe getting ahead of ourselves. But this is the first step forwards and a big leap for Zeta Division 0, as again yesterday, arguably looking a bit weaker today, ironing out some of those issues and looking very, very dominant.
We're running low on European hopes here. Ark, it's been a tough day at the office for the EMEA region. And here are your stats at the end of Gem Grab. You see Lenar on that stew, really trying to do what he could to pressure down a Chapi. Tensai, rather, of course, on that max. Just a little bit too hard to catch. And Kuru was the blunt object, the Poco running it down mid. More often than not, able to put this pressure on Drage, pressure on Tom, make it impossible for Tribe to get any map control to build off of.
Wow, it's dominant, isn't it? Kuru had such a great game. He really did. 8 takedowns, and Drake struggling a bit to really finalize the kills, hoping for the aggressiveness of Tom and Lenan to come in and pick up when they were on low HP. But like you said, EU hope is dwindling so quickly. I mean, there's a very big possibility that we'll have an entirely East Asia and North America semi-finals.
And let's not discount the possibility earlier, though it is, that we have an all East Asia final as well if no one can figure out how to answer any of these Zeta Division teams. Take a breath, ladies and gentlemen. Tough one, of course, tough pill to swallow for Europe, but they still have a hope left in the game, and Tribe, as it happens, also still have something left to work with. Before we move on and talk about our next match here, the question is, what team can stop either of these Zeta Division 0 teams? Is it too much to expect for even one of these Zeta teams to be brought down now? STMN have the tough job in that first semi-final, and now we're about to find out who has it in the second.
Well, Tribe Gaming NA, SK Gaming. I mean, this is deja vu a little bit here. 2 of the Titans. It's such an enjoyable one to watch every time.
Tell us about this rivalry a bit more. We got to flesh this out, because when I looked at Zulan's had this intense stare on his face all day. He's like, man, we will not lose this game.
Yeah, he was asking us what our predictions were, and we were honest, but at the same time, go back to 2021, in that World Finals, the first round, It was Tribe Gaming NA versus SK Gaming. Okay, to be fair, a slightly different roster. Back then, it was Semantic with their Jeton as well and Skyrex. So we've got to bear that in mind, but it was one of the biggest upsets. It was the first match, and no one could believe it. But now, this year, with MSI, you know, we saw it, didn't we? It was such an emotional roller coaster for both teams. And Tribe, you know, had to try to muster something up in the 5th and final set, which they couldn't, which meant that SK Gaming went into the grand finals to face Zeta Division 1.
That's right, and now, of course, let's have a look at the journey so far from Tribe, because I think we really want to set the stage here. Again, it's a rivalry being renewed. SK striking the most recent blow, I guess you could say. We saw Tribe go up against a Na'Vi that didn't look themselves. I think that's like the safest way to put it. MMA obviously showing up there. Well, we previously didn't see a slightly different look at that roster. Still a lot of energy for Tribe, because it was important for them to sort of, you know, get rid of this Na'Vi team who looked threatening on paper.
Yeah, they looked very, very strong. There's no doubt about it. And many teams were saying just how strong Na'Vi were looking and how much expectations they had of that particular team. But Tribe Gaming NA just made it look very straightforward, very composed, very cautious, but some smart drafts. I did love this Sprout draft in Dueling Beetles. There was just no wall break on the side of Na'Vi, and in that respect, they just maybe overestimated their draft a little bit. It was such a close one.
Yeah, I mean, Na'Vi not really able to do anything to approach. So MMA on that Crow pick, we knew what the idea he was going for, but he never had sidelines. Let's move across and talk about Tribe's opponents in this matchup, SK Gaming. Look, I think they draw probably, you know, on paper the weakest team here at the Brawlstars World Finals. Look, I don't think that's being insulting. Laconic had so many issues in order to just even be here in the first place, right? So it was great to see them representing here. SK didn't really go easy on them, at all.
Yeah, not at all. We just saw the same aggressiveness on stage that SK Gaming is so known for. Again, louder than the arena, more often than not. But the question for me is, like, were they tested enough? You know, because we saw Tribe against a team that had a great reputation in the EMEA region. So coming into this one, they're going to have to really go back and remind themselves that this is Tribe Gaming NA that they are facing.
Yeah, it's a question, right, for SK. Like, how much of a warm-up did that matchup sort of function as? Yes, they can get acclimated to being on stage and sort of, you know, Semantic was still screeching his head off, by the way, at one player on the other side of the field. But again, that's him, that's his energy. You know, don't take anything away from him. But for Tribe here, I know there's a lot on the line. There's a score to be settled, a grudge, and they'd love to be the one that could take a tilt at Zeta Division in that semi-final. I can't wait to bring them out here. The energy is really starting to fill the room, so let's not waste any time. Let's go meet our first team in this match.
Et on est là, il y a beaucoup de bruit quand même dans la scène. Est-ce qu'on est toujours chaud? Ça s'arrête pas, on est toujours là. Encore un match de ce premier round avant d'avancer dans les demi-finales. Et je crois qu'on va la faire comme tout à l'heure parce qu'il y a beaucoup de supporters en anglais. On va la faire en anglais celle-là. Encore une fois, one tribe fell, one tribe remain. Are we ready for the second one? Tribe Gaming NA!
Tribe looked phenomenal on day 2, as breaking the will of Na'Vi is no easy feat, but it was convincing. Zulan as Livy, Tyrant and Corey have excelled themselves this year, but this matchup doesn't come without its fair share of history and raw emotion. At MSI earlier this year, we saw SK Gaming prevail in this very matchup, but that's exactly why for Tribe, this is personal. They now have the chance, a fresh slate, to take back control of their destiny. This is their big shot at redemption.
And this Tribe team brings Livy in as that young gun, that real talent. Corey now moves into more of a coaching, more of a sort of analytical role on this team. Tribe now have an incredible back-of-house staff. Let us now bring out their opponents in this rivalry match.
Et les adversaires, évidemment, je suis un peu pris en otage, je suis exactement là où les supporters sont là. On va la refaire en anglais aussi. We know what's the next team, right? We see all of them. We ready? SK Gaming!
For SK Gaming, this matchup is their ultimate rivalry. Semantic, Guille, Chaos and Pedro won't be underestimating their opposition, but they do have the luxury of being able to reflect back to MSI, where they secured the win over Tribe to make those grand finals. Historically, The World Finals haven't been kind to SK, but today they are looking to step out of that trend and show the whole world why they deserve to go all the way.
SK Gaming is a name steeped in tradition, history, pride, and legend. So many incredible names have been under this banner flying, and this time it was semantic to brandish it in front of the crowd and their foes. This SK Gaming squad have unmatched LAN experience as far as the rest of their region goes, but out here, it's all to be settled. They absolutely wanted to go up against a team like Tribe. He wanted to serve them up 2 consecutive Ls. And don't forget, this SK Gaming team is a super team, right? You bring together the best teams in Europe, the SK Gaming of the day, AC Milan clash. You say, we want to create not just a Europe beater, we want to create a
on the world stage. At MSI, it was SK Gaming that prevailed, but in this scenario, like I said, it's a clean sheet for Tribe to bring it around and remind us that they've still got exactly what it takes to go all the way here. So much history between these two teams, and again, with the amount of energy on the side of Tribe Gaming NA, combining that with the energy of SK Gaming, it's going to be nothing short of fireworks.
SK Gaming are the last EMEA team remaining in the composition. The last hope of that European region. So proud. A big region for Brawlstars, the biggest in fact. And this is it. They fly the flag for that entire continent now against this Tribe team. Remember, SK Gaming are also looking ahead of this game. They're looking at Zeta Division 1 saying, we want that rematch too. We want all the rematches. That MSI lost that 5-set series. We want to run that back in 7 this time around. So it's crazy to say that SK Gaming aren't even looking at the top of the mountain across the stage. They're only halfway up, baby.
But it would be, it would be reminiscent of what we saw at MSI if that were the case, and I, for one, can kind of see it. I mean, Tribe Gaming NA's, performance towards the end of the season, it did start to dwindle. It did start to close down just a little bit with some poor performances. September was a loss in the semi-finals.
To Vatra,
yeah.
October in the quarters.
Yeah.
To Obey Alliance of all teams, who they've said sort of, hey, we actually have trouble with Obey Alliance. I mean, the team obviously not representing here, but one you should definitely check out if you want to look closer at the NA and LATAM North region. Here it is, Tribe Gaming NA versus SK Gaming. We've said it multiple times. It's a grudge match. There's a lot of history here, and we're about to watch that all simmer to the surface.
Well, the poll was slightly in favor there of SK Gaming, but we saw it be in favor of Tribe Gaming EU in the previous series against Zeta Division 0, and we know how that one turned out. So the bans are in, and Tribe Gaming NA bringing in, banning out the Janet, the Sprout, and the Basta. For SK Gaming, banning out the Carl, which I think is a wise choice there, Penny, and the Piper.
It's the best map type for Tribe NA. They love their bounty. They like to play it slow, steady. They're methodical in their approach to this map. But SK Gaming have been often accused of the same thing. And Bounty is their second best game type, with a 61% win rate. The Tick, no surprise to see him, an absolute staple. The kind of brawler you're not willing to use a ban slot on, but you'll more than happily scoop up if you get first pick.
It could, though, encourage some aggression on the side of Tribe Gaming NA, something to try to overthrow it. It's great when you've got control and when you have your opposition on the ropes, but ultimately, if you're the one being pushed against that back wall, it's really tough to get out of it. Tribe going to bring in Gene. The healing, of course, and the magic hand is such a game turner, especially in Bounty. It's a case of just choose the stars that you want to add to your collection, isn't it? To combine it, though, definitely some lane aggression is going to be needed. But that's why I feel like Tribe banning out the Sprout is quite important here. They're really a bit out of position. They don't want to take the risk to have it played against them in the scenario, but I think range is going to be quite key. Brox, Bells, Piper's banned out here, so Ruff's going to come in as well for some early support.
I just want to point out that Gene is Zulan's most played brawler this season. He's 8-2 on it, so really favors coming into sets like this one and snapping up that Gene straight away. You can see why many plays been made by many teams with that exact brawler. And the Ruffs is just incredible. This is very, very powerful. Again, really important to have some sort of wall break if you have a composition that wants to sort of take advantage of that. So that might inform the next pick here for Tribe Gaming NA. Ruff's just incredibly well-rounded brawler. SK are going to get to lock in two, one after another, and yeah, no surprise here. This Otis pick really favored by them. Gia loves that.
Maybe Bonnie here as well, because SK would love to have something to really go in at those moments of weakness. It's a big favored pick, and with the Ruffs on the side.
It's a good Gia pick as well.
Yeah.
Wants to go there.
Yeah. With the Ruffs as well, they can't really go in with the beat that they would normally like to take in. The sandbags, Rico. I mean, you know, it's SK. It's iChaos. I mean, if anyone can make that brawler work the hardest on leg cake, it's going to be him.
All I think is Lola Penny Rico for this guy. Absolutely devastating brawler selection. So no shock to see Chaos pick that up on stage. You can see very reserved he is. He knows what kind of mountain they're going to be looking to climb. So this now makes sense, right? Maybe now we understand why there's some wall break getting used. It also is going to reduce the effectiveness of iChaos on that side lanes as we get later and later into the round. So I'm really interested to see how the wall break abilities are going to be used in general. When they come out, obviously, as Livy has the option to use that as part of gadget, whereas for Ruffs, it's baked into the super.
And having everything opened up for Zulan just to be able to really get his super back as quickly as possible.
Absolutely.
And land it. Got to land those supers. Quick early break from Livy on the left-hand side. And here we go. The crowd is screaming in the background as Livy breaking up the mids there with the rocket fuel. That's the second one he's used just to allow some visibility there.
I don't think Tribe are going to have trouble getting Zulan charged up here because SK Gaming are trotting across the field right now. Blue Star in the hands of Semantic. Gia making it hard to advance. Is Livy getting pressure down heavily? Fat Splatter there as well to put the Brock out of commission for the time being. Tyra needs to be wary now as Semantic starts to encroach.
They are getting pushed back just a little bit too much for my liking. And oh, that's good taps on Semantic. Ultimately, he is a real issue if he gets into that close proximity in the spawn side area, but iChaos has super as well. Tickhead coming out, taken down very, very quickly. Tribe know just how much that gear, Thickhead coming into play. They've got to be really communicative around that situation.
SK back up almost to avoid trying to give Zulan too much charge, but he does have the hand now. This is such a classic way for this to play out. We're in under a minute and there's only one star to SK's name. And it's the only one that matters right now. There's the hand, that's the Blue Star. Semantic sent back packing.
You got one chance, you've got to make it count, and Zulan got the connection. The support was there, but the time is now on the side of SK, and the momentum push towards the spawn. One singular takedown is all it will take, and iChaos, no more utility left on the gadgets. In fact, there's only just the one left, or a couple for Guille, but that is it. 20 seconds now. They've got to make a push.
Magic Puff's keeping the top up good. Zulan has yet another magic hand. Tickhead's going to be taken down as it approaches, as Livy's starting to threat towards the middle. Semantic again gets taken down. Uncharacteristic, and Gia just dodges the hand. But it doesn't matter. Tribe Gaming have the lead they were looking for. They'll take the first round.
Yes. The amount of overwhelming support here for Tribe Gaming NA. But nonetheless, it is the first one. They've got to keep that level of consistency, as we know that SK are a team that when they are pushed into a corner, they really do bite back. An early fat splatter there for Semantic. Moving forwards then for the Blue Star, and having that high ground, so important to have. So I absolutely understand why SK want to really establish that early control.
And we know that SK like to slow the game down, right? That's always been their trademark. But that's a real problem when you give Gene time to build up that magic hand and you aren't in position to try and get a trade or make up for that loss of stars. Zulan again, posturing aggressively here. He can't be far away from that. Look how low SK are. This is about to get ugly. Avert your eyes if you're squeamish, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, the connection as well to Zulan on the magic hand, follows things up as well. I just felt that's going to be an absolute team wipe. I think actually SK Gaming got off a little bit scot-free, but it wasn't.
They're lucky.
Yeah. Just the 3 stars there really now separating these two teams. But this control has all been with Tribe Gaming. They've been dominating that side of this game, and SK have got to take some of this back, remove some of that control, and start to confirm some of these kills.
Semantic's already gone through all of his fat splatters now, so forget about those. Chaos, though, obviously has a little bit of that healing available via Bouncy Castle. Rocket Rain again is going to force that Otis back in the mid. Gia dancing around those incendiary fields. As Livy giving him the hot foot now, but it's going to be Chaos going down. Semantic's in trouble as well. He might not realize it, but he bloody well should. Pressure from Tyrant here. Poke damage gets the job done. 8-1, and SK have almost no way of getting back outside of a full team wipe, and that doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon.
It's happening again, isn't it? Tribe giving an A are just looking so good. I mean, how often do we ever see SK Gaming with 1 star in Bounty with 15 seconds remaining? And they even got a chance to bring this back. There's a lot of stars on the map, but they've got no time now to push this. Unless Chaos can get a lovely lineup here, it's possible.
Puffs. Magic puffs.
Not now. This is all Tribe Gaming an A. What a first set. What a statement.
Not even within the same postcode are SK Gaming right now. Tribe NA looking clean as a whistle. A great opener, and again, they're happy for the pace of play to be slowed down. Like we said, they've got that Gene Semantic just walking into a couple of traps one too many times. Chaos, we got excited about his Rico. It does not deliver.
Yeah, it was a pick which is absolutely characteristic of SK Gaming, but it just didn't quite get the value which they were looking for. It was funny as we were sort of passing Tribe in the corridor. I said to them, you know, SK are one of those teams where you can either choose to play passively like they do and give yourself a chance that way, or you just go super aggressive. It just feels like Tribe giving an A went for the latter here today, and so far it's working out. SK are stirred on the stage. They're not looking themselves.
We know SK could bark. They were doing it yesterday against a single opponent. But where's the bite? They come out with absolutely no stars over the entirety of that Bounty set. I mean, Tribe Gaming, it's not even close. It's a steamroll. This is one of the very best teams in the world, the team that stands against Tribe NA more often than not. You see the looks on iChaos's face. These guys have got to get into the game. They've got to do it quick. This is only a best of 5.
Wow. I don't know what you had for lunch, Uber, but SK have got a lot of donuts if you're hungry. Semantic, Ki, and iChaos all with nothing to show for themselves. It was entirely Tribe, that whole entire set. And this is the kind of thing that can really throw you off before you even start to get going. SK have got to find a way to get into this game, or they might be left behind.
I felt like they had some good early pressure, SK Gaming. There was one point where they forced Tribe Gaming back into their own spawn, but Tribe always threatened Magic Hand, and they also said, well, if you don't pressure now, we'll just top ourselves back up, Magic puffs and that natural healing, and then we'll come straight at you. Gem grab here, double swoosh coming up. Get a couple of picks that could be really devastating on this map. We've already seen Buster tried on this one in the past. Amber, definitely one that teams have gone for. Obviously, you have the option to go for stuff that's a little bit longer range. So Amber, yeah, looks like she got banned away there pretty much straight away, as did Buster and Pan.
Yeah, I think that, for me, Tribe Gaming NA in the North America and Latin North region really do understand just how much value Amber can get on this particular map, but it's going to leave things open a lot for still some aggressive brawlers, but I think B here is a shout. I mean, they've got a really drafted Gene here for SK, I feel. I mean, they would be the ones to normally go for Bow. They banned it out. It's screaming out to me, especially off the back of what we just witnessed in the first set, but they're going to go with Penny. I mean, it is what they would tend to go with here, but it's going to leave the door so wide open for Tribe to draft in a Gene.
And again, we know that Zulan just loves to do that. He's 9-2 now on Gene in sets, if you want to count that last match, outside of what we've already seen from them as well in this tournament. And again, Penny's one of iChaos's most played brawlers this season. Definitely likes to go in that direction. We know why she's powerful. She's really much more versatile now with Salty Barrel. Versatility's fine. I just want to see SK Gaming show a little bit of, I don't know, lethality. Maybe sharpen those teeth a little bit.
Max coming in, such an aggressive play to have available in the back pocket. Coming in at just the right time, snatch the gems away, take away all that momentum in one single play. But surely they've got to back this up with Gene now. And Max and Gene, as we know, is like such a wonderful pairing to have.
There's almost nothing you can do about it when Gene gets speed boosted at you with that Magic Hand. You just forget about it.
It's cake and ice cream, isn't it? It's not a healthy snack, but they go with Janet. Okay, I don't mind it. They're leaving things a little bit
So why do you think that they are sort of waiting for this last pick? Do you think they might be trying to anticipate something weird and wacky from SK? Maybe if they don't get that, they add the Gene in. But seeing Gene pick last would be bizarre.
Unless the plan for SK is to have a Penny lane, but could work. Salty Barrel especially, can really get those quick interactions if you're running into someone that you don't expect. maybe they just want to see whether SK's strategy is going to evolve to be that brawler. It could be a weaker idea. Carl, they're going to come in and
Normally it's Max or Janet for a lot of teams, right? They take like a really safe, like really decent mid to longish range mid that has evasion, right? Super that allows them to get out of trouble. Crow here for SK Gaming. My goodness. Maybe they're looking at what they've seen so far and going like, you know, slowing Toxin might be huge. It really sets us up for Gear to go in, engage with Flying Hook, Tailspin. If they can get just one tick of that poison onto a gem carrier, that could ruin Tribe's day.
I feel like I don't want to say it's got to be a Gene, because ultimately, Tribe Gaming an A might bring something out of the pocket.
We're getting lost in the sauce,
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly where you want to bring in those ideas into the world stage and keep everyone guessing.
Can you just outrange this, perhaps? Okay,
yeah, don't mind it.
The opposite of maybe what I expected to see there. All right, so why do you think Poco comes in here, and how does this sort of interact with the composition from SK?
Well, with the Crow on the other side of things, you know, protective tunes can cancel out that slowing Toxin.
Absolutely.
It just stops it in its tracks and just eradicates the gadget's use. I feel like as well, survivability is going to be key for keeping aggressive brawlers like the Max on their side and the Janet in the mix. Screeching solo as well. You know, it's going to be a tough one here for SK.
SK Gaming got a lot of work to do to bounce back after that first set showing. Chaos nips himself out there, grabs himself the gem. And we'll see that side lane. Gia versus Zulan. Tyrant versus Semantic on the Crow.
That's Livy trying to creep forwards to get that unfavorable spawn. But it does go into the pocket of Chaos as Gia comes in, does get the help that he needs, but as Livy could not quite connect Eric's shot on it, and he will lose positioning for it.
Yeah, not a huge kill in the grand scheme of the round. It means that Chaos has a bit more mid-control. Zulan wants to push up though, try and continue to be annoying, be aggressive. He actually just lights Gia and Chaos up there with that screeching solo. Gia takes a ton of damage this time, so before he even gets to Zulan, he's scattered out and he's taken out.
Yeah, now Zulan can push forwards as well and get into a really aggressive position. Start to try to gain that early information. The flying hook there is there for Guille, but he won't come out. Samantha with a jump though, and the pickup very quickly observed there from this Livy. Not hesitating to come in, secure that left-hand side lane and have his teammates come back now.
Now Zulan holding onto the super there just when you thought he'd go down. He's actually able to hold his ground against Gia and that tailspin. The turret puts a wrinkle in things now, it's a bit more annoying. Salty barrel being removed there, Chaos not able to really do anything with it. Tyrant looks like slowed up a little bit here. Semantic not opting to try and capitalize.
Gia here is in a great spot, honestly. If he flying hooks in, this Livy is low, and they've got to be so careful here. Gia coming in, does get the takedown of Zulan as Livy, though, able to follow it up.
Tyrant, he's going for Chaos. Why? As Livy's out of the fight right now. Tyrant also going to abscond after dropping a couple of bombs here, so still no change of hands with gems. Gia able to deal with Tyrant though. Zulan went for a bit of a lane swap as Livy's going to need a lot of support right now. As SK look to start to tighten their grip.
It's balancing on a live set, isn't it? For Tribe Gaming and A, but that's a nice gem spawn. Chaos though will know it with the salty barrel coming down as Livy just gets out. Beautiful dash, really was. As now, Tyrant takes the skies and tries to break. The gems are dropped. SK have got nothing in the pocket.
Yeah, Tyrant was in the air. He probably would have liked to drop down on the gems, but as Livy's keeping that 10 safe. So as long as there can be some map control here for Tribe, this is dangerous now, 12 to 10. There has to be an answer for Tribe. There's 7 seconds left in the round. They're going to start to encroach here. Zulan comes forward. It's going to be the tailspin from Gia. And Semantic is safe behind the barrier. SK get on the board.
It's never too late to start the turnaround, and SK needed that. They really did.
It's never too late to get kills in Brawlstars. Doesn't happen in the first set, don't worry about it.
What a burn. But it's true. It is true. Has been a bit of a slow one so far for SK, a bit uncharacteristically of them. But now that was a great way to start their turnaround potential.
Look, Zulan can't really win this side lane matchup without A, help, or B, his super. If he doesn't have those and Gia's able to close the gap, look how quickly he's built up that tailspin. It's very, very bad for the Puerto Rican on this right side.
You've got to remember as well that every time these two teams face off, it goes to the fifth and final set. Now we're starting to believe that that is truly possible, as it wasn't really the case in the previous one, as Livy be a bit cautious here on his HP and try to keep himself well out of the range. GA 2 has still got gadgets to go in and cause a problem on Zulan, who wants to keep the hills coming in for his Livy, so if they can start to really eradicate him from the mix, they can start to really dominate even more.
The early round here going to be predicated by the gem spawns. These teams just trading them, picking them up one after a Oh, nice from Tyrant again. Semantic tries to swoop on him, but Tyrant is ready to receive him as he lands. This allows his Livy actually to get that 2-gem lead, which is not insignificant. Now, if they trade gems one after another, it'll favor Tribe. They'll win the round as a result. As Livy, he's in trouble. Yeah, steamrolls him. He is forced to part with the gems right now, but Chaos can come back in and scoop them up. Tyrant is going in. It might be a suicide mission or a Hail Mary. We're about to find out. Semantic slow. Swoops on in. Sticks the landing. It's a perfect 10 from the judges. As SK Gaming get to saunter off with 12 gems.
This is the SK that we all know and love. Starting to fight back, and I don't know whether there's enough time for this one, honestly, but Livy is going to give it his best. He does get the reset. The gems are dropped.
In spawn though, so Chaos is able to just spawn in and pick those straight up. Tyrant's forced away, Semantic wants to dive, he's low. Tyrant, it's a strafing run with the bombs. It's gonna be tough for him to get to Chaos's position, and he's a one-shot. Chaos deftly dispatches his foe, and Zulan can't get around this barrier. SK Gaming even up the series.
And just like that, the arena
the same mindset, same approach as we saw in the first map. So both teams played pretty conservatively till towards the end of the round, right? That's when the risks start to be taken. Semantic doing well to collapse on towards that Janet a couple times, really get value out of the slowing Toxin here. And again, Gear, always a threat. As soon as you catch Livy without the phase shifter available, those gems are getting spilt on the ground.
Semantic almost breaking the desk. But yeah, Gear just timed those Carl runs absolutely perfectly. I mean, and you've got to play in Carl. It's not just a good and aggressive brawler that can get a great deal of kills and map maneuverability, but just being able to come out with the goods. And that reset was there, but again, there's no finer place than leaving the gems in your spawn, especially when you've got that many in the pocket. What a game for Guille.
I mean, look, the Poco is great, but that's the last pick. That's the pick you really want to be the difference maker, the thing that really characterizes your team comp. Instead, you spend most of the round getting absolutely flattened by Gear every time he steps up. Zulan had a really difficult job. He has to find a way to counter Carl. There are brawlers that can do that. Most of the time, the ones with stuns and the like. Yes, Poco is scary, very much so in a 1v1 sense, but he didn't quite have enough to sort of give him at least a 50-50 in that lane is what you're looking for, and he couldn't even get that.
You really want to have something a bit more aggressive, you know? That's the thing. I can understand the strategy here, but obviously going to be very different going into Knockout now. And Bell's Rock. Bans surely coming in to follow. Tribe Gaming and A banning out the Rico. And I don't see why that is ever a bad thing. And the Bonnie, I think they've read this really well, actually. They really have. Banning the Gene as well, the Tick, the Brock, and the Piper. Banned for SK, but Buster could come in here. I don't mind it, but it has got a bit of a risk. If you break open too much of the map, then you know you are a bit of a sitting duck, and brawlers like Bell are going to absolutely thrive here.
And again, Buster really would struggle if there's any collapse on a side lane, and are able to use the horizontal as well as those vertical lanes to pressure with sharpshooters. The Sprout comes in here for Tribe NA first. This is SK Gaming's far and away best map type. They have an 86% win rate on Knockout over the course of this year. It is unequivocally their specialty.
It's a bold move, though, to bring in Sprout as your first pick. Not really a third pick, but we saw yesterday, didn't we, just in dueling beetles against Navi, how much Tribe Gaming NA can make that brawler work. The value is Livy gained from it.
Yeah, it's great at shutting down these tight lanes, and Transplant is actually really troll on this kind of map, because you can sort of shut down one lane and then shut down the next one basically straight away once that brawler sort of rotates. So it's really good at actually giving you an isolated 3v2 situation.
And the Bell here with the reload gear, it's just going to have such a good time, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, especially those later rounds.
Ground, basically, come on.
I hope Tribe have got a good response for this, honestly, because Sprout would be great for control, but even with that, you've got to combine it with some aggressive, some range.
B? Does that work for you here?
I feel it would, yeah. I mean, B packs a sting, no pun intended, it genuinely does. Gus, though, for the shield, and
You know, maybe if you didn't say packs a sting, I wouldn't have thought you intended the pun, but I'm convinced you did. Yeah, I actually don't believe you are. Don't trust this man, ladies and gentlemen.
I've heard your jokes, though. So.
Fair play, moving right along. Now, obviously, we know how scary this Gus has been. Kooky Popper brings this level of burst damage that you just don't expect a sort of support-oriented brawler to be able to produce. It catches you by surprise because you don't know what the fourth shot is. As the opposing brawler, you can't tell necessarily, unless no one's counting this stuff, but there's that B that we sort of foreshadowed that, oh, yeah, well, I just picked the one sharpshooter that wasn't banned, so, you know, you don't need to follow me on Twitter at Ubershouts or anything for that. That's not necessary.
The self-promotion. Right, third and final pick for SK. And to be honest, it's going to have something which is lacking right now, which is a bit of control for me, but Fang is a staple diet here. Surely that's the aggressor they're going to go with. Grom, though, an underrated one, a very underrated one. Actually, much the sort of thing that I'd expect to see in North America and LATAM North, actually. It's like they've kind of moved away from their own meta, actually.
We're going to talk about this.
Yeah?
First Grom pick,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, of this entire World Finals. You said control, so that often means that maybe there's a thrower that, you know, could be good at filling that role. Why Grom here?
Again, for the controlling element, you know, you've got the Sprout on the other side of things, which, you know, is going to have a great deal of side lane control, or mid. Looks like they're going to be going mid for it.
There's a lot of crisscross on this map, so it actually suits the way that his projectiles expand out from that center bomb really effectively. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it's going to be a little annoying for Eslivy to deal with here. Grom can have a bad reputation amongst some circles, but he's definitely a legitimate contender here.
And the radio check gadget as well, as I'm sure it's going to be being ran. It just can catch you off guard. It can just secure those takedowns that you need in the later parts of the game. Let's see though, Zulan.
Here it is. One,
The
two,
amplified
three.
shot, yeah, but juked perfectly from Tribe. They've read that really well.
And again, obviously playing outside of the cardinal direction, so trying to play diagonally from that center Bud is really important. But you have to predict where the Bud's going to hit, and sometimes based on the skin, it can actually be a little bit hard to tell to get yourself in position early, but Eslivy looks like he's done this before. So again, here you go. You are shutting down a good portion of the map. Oh! Guess someone's been lacking their vegetables in their diet. Eslivy just force-fed them a handful of space carrots, and SK Gaming, well, they're not going to have scurvy, but they're definitely looking a bit woozy.
They need to pick me up, don't they? Try make that look so good. Locking the whole thing down, and as soon as the weaknesses of the crack started to show, finalizing it beautifully so.
I mean, again, funneling your opponents into a small space with just one hedge is kind of what this map lets you do on that Sprout. It's so scary.
Denial.
And I think Eslivy picks that up. He transplants that bush out here. Doesn't fancy it. Maybe Tyrant wanted the sight line. Either way, he'll have another super available. And in a pinch, they just want to catch someone out and then pull the bush out if they have to.
He has got the wall again, and slow on the right-hand side there from Zulan. Will leave Semantic in a bit of a precarious spot now, but coming back in and starting to close the gap, and does return some very healthy fire there onto Zulan. Good connections as well from Guille, and maybe this is starting to itch a little bit more in favor of SK, just playing it slow, waiting for that gas to start to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, no one wants to get caught, though, between a hedge and the gas, so keep an eye on Eslivy here. Chaos is struggling.
Oh, what does he do?
Eslivy traps himself inside the bush. Incomprehensible. Oh! For Tribe. What a bizarre round for Tribe. And they avoid getting punished for that moment from Eslivy.
The Grom bomb with a knockback into the gas was actually lovely from SK, but I've got to ask how Tribe were able to come out of that one on top. I wasn't sure it was going to happen. It looks like Eslivy didn't either.
Maybe trying to protect it. It looks very unclear what the point was behind that hedge there. Benefit of the doubt, though, we're going to give that to him. He obviously isn't pleased either way with the outcome of that round, but Tribe still get it. So here we go again.
Good jukes.
And Eslivy making sure he's on the diagonal every time one of these buds gets thrown in. Pretty hard to hit. I mean, Chaos is trying, but Eslivy, he's able to get some progress now, moving up. Because he's not taking any damage. That super is now online. And we have a lane swap here, so Semantics actually wanted to try and go here in towards Tyrant, but Zulan also swaps to meet him.
Good connections there for Mike Chaos as Livy is going to be forced back here, but now the transplant will come in and good connection shots. Beautifully done. Almost all three there. Almost a disastrous situation for Mike Chaos.
Zulite, seen better days there. Semantic really starting to put on the pressure. Here comes the gas arc, and Tyrant is down.
Everyone low there on the side of the drive. This is the last shot to finalize it. SK Gaming bring back around. There's still some fight left in them in this set.
That one was pretty close there. Chaos and Livy struggle to really interact with each other at length here. Okay, triple check here coming out from Chaos. Livy.
Oh, bomb!
Gets absolutely nuked. And Chaos now has a chance just to recover that health. Tyrant is waiting for the hedge to disappear now. He's in a tight corridor, so it's actually a little bit harder to dodge those Grom bombs. So far, not so bad, though. They want to collapse onto Gia and they get the 2v2. Tyrant shields himself. Can he walk?
Oh, great taps. Beautiful by Chaos.
Too sharp. And even the Gust shield, not enough to get him out. SK Gaming on the precipice here of evening things up. They're going to take their time now as Zulan trying not to feed anything over to them. That'll be it.
What a way to end it. I mean, they had both rounds, so why not end on a Grom bomb, you know, just to reinforce it. That was the thing that really was a struggle for Tribe that time round as Chaos started to warm himself up to it. Again, it's a Brawl which I've not really seen SK Gaming playing too much. Normally it's a fine pick, but they are really starting to make this Grom give the best run for his money against Sprout.
Semantic again has to go against Zulan. Doesn't love being here. Honey Molasses is going to be thrown down by Zulan. It was, of course, a fat splatter sent in by Semantic. Tyrant mostly trying to avoid these shots from Gia, who definitely has a more comfortable time. I like the reverse polarity shot. My God, nice little angle there. No connection, but looked damn good. I like the DVD logo trying to bounce into the corner of your screen. That's what I'm cheering through.
Yeah.
That's a 2000s meme. Sorry.
We are but humble boomers, Zuba. But I gotta say though, I do prefer Nest Egg. I do. I mean, it's definitely great for flair and it does serve a purpose as well. I mean, you see Gia is connecting with it, keeping Tyrant low. Slow though, does not quite land for Zulan. Like Chaos doesn't connect either with the radio checks. Both teams really reading each other so well here.
All right, Tyrant gets a bit of a breather there as Livy cuts off that lane by the hedge. Oh, there it is. What a gadget use from Chaos. Tyrant's going to be caught in the gas here, and that's going to be that. SK Gaming, 1 round away from going up 2-1 here. Knockout favoring them solidly.
A night and day difference when you think back to that first set where they had 0 kills on every player. But now, it just feels like the momentum shift is starting to get the better of Tribe potentially here. Zulan just looking to get the amplified shot to connect with Semantic. He's really making him work for
He
it.
really has to pressure this lane. Like, Zulan needs to turn this like objective advantage into some other map presence. He has to materialize an advantage for Tribe outside of just him having the better lane assignment. So that means pushing Semantic so far back that he can't have an impact or just eliminating him.
He's being so cautious, rightly so. Shift to hand, you can connect it and land those amplified shots. Tribe need to make this a 3 versus 2 realistically. They're going down too late towards the end. A great slow there from Zulan again, but not able to finalize it. That's where Tribe is struggling.
But the problem is Livy can't just cut the Grom out of his lane. The Grom can still do whatever he wants, even if there's a hedge in the way like this. Chaos can still fire, as Livy still needs to respect it. Here comes the gas, but Tyrant's going to win that battle against Gia. What a huge
Lovely stuff.
Getting rid of the bell as Gus on that lane assignment. No easy feat. Tribe really overcoming some fundamental issues to even it up.
1 round to decide it all in this set. We wouldn't want it any other way. Zulan got a heal here, but again, reading the Grom like a book, and Gage pushing down their Tyrant towards the lower end. Matthew with the mute ready at hand as well. We're going to be very cautious around him if you manage to connect that.
Yeah, this wall break really changing the lay of the land here. There's Livy and Chaos still preferring to play on the more untouched side of the map. Semantic flashes super there, he doesn't connect it. Zulan able to breathe a sigh of relief as he wants to continue to pressure the Otis away. 1 shot, no empowered connection there. He had a second chance, still no good. Iron Hive now coming out. Semantic is dodging all of it. Man, this guy's got light feet.
He's been great all time, but the cookie popper almost caught him off guard. He's still alive.
but he has to back up. He needs to heal. That's going to give Tribe an advantage there to start to move up the map just a little bit more. Chaos in that back left corner of the hedge is a problem, and the gas chokes him out. Here comes Tribe getting in, Gia the last one left. And North America takes another step towards a semi-final berth.
Everyone on their feet and in our ears right now. The support that is there behind this squad is enormous. It's unusual, isn't it? We see SK, which is always constantly reminded as to how loud they are, but this is what I love so much, bringing the crowd in for 2022. This is the best of Brawl.